like I was saying, say, she talked to somebody, at the gallo. I don't know if it was last night, Saturday night, Sunday night, or she called them this morning and everything. I think she called them this morning. I'm not really sure, but she did get in contact with somebody of a higher authority, and she explained what happened. The lady's like, "Well, that's kind of stupid. That's not, basically the lady that's of the higher authority, basically sided with my older sister and said, yeah, you're not banned or anything. It's just, maybe, basically, I think what it was that, this lady may have been the lady that ejected her and all that may have been on a power trip, like I mentioned, and probably was also tired. I mean, you got to imagine you're working at a place like the Modesto Gallo Center and everything of the arts, the Modesto Gallo Center of the Arts, and you're working there for several hours and you're taking tickets and all that. The big one of the bigger shows you're going to have in that area is going to happen, and all you're just waiting to do is just go home. You just want out of there because if you're not going to be able to enjoy the show, you just want to go home. You just want to go home. So obviously, to me, the way I look at it, this lady was tired. That's what it was. She was tired. She wanted to go home, and she saw my sister getting a little, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more enjoying of herself than usual, and just said, yeah, and she probably just saw her and said, yeah, there's my relief right there. There's where I can let out all this boredom and this stress of just waiting to go home and everything, and and that's what she did, in my opinion. That's what she did. But yeah, I think my sister kind of straightened it out, and according to what she said, the person in charge, the higher authority over there was going to make sure that the lady that was on this power trip would call up my nephew and my brother-in-law to apologize to them for her actions and her attitude. And again, from what I could tell, I think, because the way it was described, my older sister described it to my mom, because my mom likes to have her cell phone or her landline phone on speaker. The way she described it to my mom, basically, it sounds very familiar to me. Like, I've seen this before. My mom's dealt with it before. She's told me she's dealt with stuff like this before. It feels to me like what really this all is just somebody that's tired, that's been there a while. It's either been busy or slow, and they just want to go home. It's like, you know, they just want to go home. They're just waiting for that clock to strike a certain time for them to say, "I'm out of here." And then the last thing they need is either a big rush or something to, something to stir trouble. And apparently, my sister being a little louder than usual is what pretty much broke the camel's back for this lady, because apparently there were some people telling my sister in the back who she and her family were sitting in front of. They were trying to tell her to, quiet it down and everything. And what my sister said she was doing was she was basically using her phone, I guess, to try to turn it down and everything because people were calling or something. I don't know. So yeah, she basically she basically was, she was laughing a little loud and everything, and also trying to turn down her phone. But it was just enough to, like I said, cause an issue. And thankfully, I don't think she is gonna be banned, whatsoever. Like I said, because even the lady she talked to, the high authorities, like, yeah, that doesn't sound. That's that girl that kicked you out doesn't have the power to do that. She doesn't have the authority basically to say you're banned and all that. So we'll see what happens, because she does want to take my mom to go there in August for her birthday to see Donny Osmond. So we'll see what occurs. But yeah, it was an interesting Sunday night for them. That's all I can say. And it was also an interesting Saturday for them too, because they basically dealt with the same thing that my mom dealt with 2 weeks ago when I went to Red Hawk. You see, when I went to Red Hawk, before I left, I noticed there was a big tent. She pointed out to me there was a big, like, tent, little, I guess you could say, cover, if you will, in the backyard of our neighbors in the back of us here. And apparently they were, how do I say, setting up for a birthday. I'm guessing either a graduation or quinceañera. and they were loud. They were loud. She even said to me on the phone she had to shut her door and my door, even though we had the windows closed. She had to shut both the doors to keep the noise down, and she couldn't really get back. She couldn't really go to her bed until almost like 2, 3 in the morning. And my older sister basically repeated the same thing yesterday to us, saying that yeah, these people didn't stop, right next to us. They didn't stop until about 1:30 or 2 in the morning. And what was crazy is that originally my older sister was going to watch her grandchild for the week, for that day, for that whole day, from start to finish. And her parents and the plan originally was they were going to drop off my great niece, her granddaughter, to my niece's home on the way to see Fluffy. But thankfully, my soon-to-be nephew, my niece's fiance, came and got their daughter. Even though it was like 11 o'clock at night, came and got her and everything, and that was it. And because obviously the baby, as we call her, the baby wasn't going to, even though she's 2, she wasn't going to sleep with that noise going on as long as it was and everything. And what was interesting is me and my mom, as we're leaving on Saturday, we noticed one person coming out of the neighbor's house, and he's just like walking like this, like, and you could just tell he's sloshed, as my mom put it. Basically, he's just out of it. And then you could tell they're all out of it, because as we were leaving, another guy comes in. He basically parallel parks right behind us. Thank God he didn't hit us, but he parallel parked behind us. And then when we came back on Sunday to go and park there, we noticed that that most of the parking was taken up except for behind my sister's expedition. So we parked behind that, but most of it was taken up, and some of it was taken up in a way to where the cars were almost sticking out a little bit. So so obviously you knew that some of these people that were there at that party next door to my sister's were not all, not all together, not all in the right mind. But outside of that, like I said, we did all right. It was a good time. Can't say anything else than that outside of some of these incidences that occurred. Mostly it was a good weekend for the fiesta and all that. So just really good, really happy to be part of it and everything. I mean, heck, we even got free corn dogs, me and my mom, because one of the girls serving the corn dog recognized us from Adventure Christian Church in Patterson when we used to go there. She recognized us, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I know who you guys are." So she gave us free corn dogs, even though she wasn't supposed to, because those things cost like 8. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, don't worry about it." And she was about to do the same thing with the mango drinks, and my mom's like, "No, don't do that, don't do that." So they're like, yeah, she was like, "Okay, that's kind of cool, kind of cool." Anyway, outside of that, that's how I spent the weekend, and mostly spent my 15th anniversary here on YouTube. Yeah. But you know what's even better? What's even greater? Out of all the attempts, get this, out of all the attempts to finally get my monetization back, I got it back. That's right. The day after I celebrate my 15th anniversary, I get it back. And you know how I got it back? Well, when I've done it in the past, they would automatically, within the same day that I would apply, they would reply back to me saying, you are not, basically you're not approved. You're not, we can't let you monetize because you have reused content. And I kept thinking to myself, well, what could that reused content be? So as you probably have noticed, if not, I've deleted, some videos that I can easily put back in the future if I want to, or at least replace with similar videos. But I deleted some videos and stuff to try to see if maybe, that would be the answer. And there were some videos that were kind of repetitive from other channels. So I deleted them thinking, okay, that would work. And it didn't. You know what did? And even though I upgraded this to 4K, you know what happened? I thought to myself, it's like God was telling me, take that one and get it out and watch what happens. And I was like, okay. So I basically took off, the more recent one I took off was the Wilkins coffee commercials. The ones I upgraded to 4K. And guess what happened? I waited because normally on the day they tell you can reapply, I couldn't, but I could reapply on the day after, which was the 3rd, which was Saturday. So I reapplied, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably going to get the same answer I got before. Guess what? There was no reply yet. No answering. There was no answers. No answering back from them. So I'm thinking, okay, that's a good sign, because if they take longer, that might mean I have a chance. Well, today I go onto my YouTube channel, and guess what? I go to the monetization area, and it tells me I'm approved, and then I have to take the steps or redo the steps and everything to get back to where I was, basically back to my monetization. And that's what I did. So that's why if you're watching, these 2 videos in this playlist, and you're seeing commercials popping up during, before, and after, it's because I got my monetization back. Yeah, I got it back. What a way to celebrate 15 years. My 15-year anniversary here on YouTube with this channel, and I get my monetization back. Thank the Lord, I get it back. And what was crazy is I'm thinking, what is it that they're saying I'm reusing? And it was the Wilkins coffee commercials, even though I've upgraded to 4K. And they say basically that if you edit it in a way, or at least change it in a way, you should be good to go. And I upgraded this thing through online-convert.com to 4K, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So guess what? I take that off, and I'm good to go. Because apparently it's one of the more reused content, one of the more reused content videos out there, not just by the Hall of Advertisement Museum YouTube channel, but by various YouTube channels, including topical discussion videos like with Double Toasted and Nostalgia Critics, Doug Walker's commercials and all that. It is one of the more used and viewed videos and uploaded videos by other channels, that it was, I guess, the easiest target to go after. So after I deleted it, I got approved. So yeah, I am back. I am back with my monetization. And as you can see down below, when you click on the display, you'll have a chance to do super thanks for me, which would be greatly appreciated. And you could shop. Yes, you could shop at my Teespring store, which you can click on there on the shop. So guys, that will also help me out if you could do that. But yeah, what a way to celebrate 15 years here on YouTube, getting my monetization back on Apricot on the weekend of the 51st Apricot Fiesta. That is, thank the Lord for that happening. Now, is this going to be a permanent solution? Maybe not, because I honestly have noticed that there are some YouTubers like Rowdy C of TV Trash, Chris Lee Moore that is, and others that are probably dealing with something similar, because they automatically, just go right to the video, and you're thinking, okay, what's going on? And obviously they're dealing with something similar. So my advice to them is, if you have any content that might be similar or identical to other content being used, look into that, save them, take them off, and you should be good to go. But anyway, yeah, my monetization's back, guys, and what a way to cap off the weekend and my 15-year anniversary. So let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment below. Thank you all for your support, and I will talk to you later. I will do a live stream.